And
Sorry about that.
if you decide to leave before service is done, don't forget your challahs are gonna be all the way out there. So that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Our kids staying, we wanna, spirit of Carol and helping out lives on.
Whoops.
All right. If any kids need to get going, now would be the good time. There you go.
Please come up and see the beautiful poster. It's amazing, and the kids made.
So I'm Rabbi David Azen. I think I've met most of you, but just want to welcome you all to Congregation B'nai Harib at the Nevada County Jewish Community Center and our celebration of life for Carol. I just want to thank Betty for the timeline of Carol's life, and I just want to give a brief overview and then turn it over to Judy and everybody else for remembrances of our beloved Carol. Born Carol Jo Pollock in Chicago, Illinois, to Marion and Henry. Chicago, Carol was a wanted and loved child, joyously welcomed by all the family and friends. And she also took, it's very important to know that as a youth, she took ballet lessons and attended kindergarten in Chicago. And then really the thing that I think we all know and love about Carol is her creativity. And she saw things that others didn't necessarily see. And so Betty has a wonderful memory of when she looked at the banister on the back porch, she saw a horse and turned it into a horse with a belt and a buckle around the wood to create a stirrup. And it was authentic looking and infinitely more fun to get on the horse with a stirrup like a real cowgirl. That's a very special memory. And then she turned the sandbox into a beach. And you know, and then I love this memory, Betty. When Betty was ill during the winter, she was not allowed to go outside because of her illness. And so Carol went out, or Carol Jo, I should say. Carol Jo went out and made a snowman for her little sister so that she could be happy. And they were both, it was perfect and they were all happy. And little sister was always grateful for her big sister's help in all sorts of ways. She loved to sing. She had a beautiful voice. I don't remember hearing that. I'm sorry we missed that. But she sang in the Lincoln Junior High School choir and in talent shows. She sang side by side with junior high school friends. And they ran onto stage and Carol fell and they just all burst into laughter. So no one was hurt. She attended Olin Sang Ruby Union Camp Institute in Wisconsin and loved it and became a counselor there as well. Was a song leader and responsible for a bunk there. Went to Mather High School and graduated from there. And was the lead singing teacher at a local nursery school. And then went to Temple University in Philadelphia, where I also later went. But I missed her by a few years. But she was the Temple news editor, the university newspaper editor. She sang in a folk song group and then got her bachelor's in elementary education and a master's degree in curriculum development at the Temple University. She taught school in Chicago, Philadelphia, and Salinas school systems, usually 4th through 6th grade. And then she actually participated in the Space Camp for Teachers program. So that's cool, and always brought that back to her school, along with other museum and national adventures that she went on. In Germany, she taught shop and was the leader of the teachers union. Obtained her principal's credential and worked in administration. In Israel, she taught English as a second language at Kibbutz Neve Eitan, And Carol was very, very upset because this was the kibbutz. You may not know this, and I didn't know this either, but Bob Dylan wanted to volunteer at the kibbutz, and they said no. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, we could have heard Carol and Bob blowing in the wind. I don't know, you know? She got married in 1973, 3 children, 5 great grandchildren who adored her and she adored. And no matter where she lived or traveled, she formed lifelong friendships, as attested to all of the folks who are here today. And of course, we all know that she was a lifelong learner and always was looking at materials in different ways and brought that to us. So sculpting with clay, with wire, glass, wood, and paper mache, any unusual materials that she could find, pencil, charcoal, paints, pen, and ink, experimented with paper making, and just really experimented with building community wherever she went. And that is what we love and honor about Carol today. So that's my overview. Judy, I want to turn it over to you to take it from here.
Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about her presidency in sisterhood. It almost was like a bucket list item to serve our community in that way. And she just brought all of the qualities that everyone has spoken of to being the president of sisterhood. She greeted everyone with the warmest, loving smile. She was so positive, and her slogan that she came to be known by was "Better Together." And she really lived that and encouraged us all to manifest that. And, you know, she just brought all that creativity, extreme generosity. She just loved to give people presents. I mean, like there would be luncheons and everybody had a gift bag. And you just couldn't stop that overflowing of kindness and generosity. And her legacy is in our hearts right now. And I just welcome anyone else to please come up. I know I'm going to actually invite Carol's swimming friends who are here, and we're so glad you're here. But anyone else, do you want to go first or do you want to wait?
I will.
Come on up and just introduce, please stand here because for the Zoom camera to see you.
Well, my name is Jerry, and I have Adrienne, Carolyn, Ruth, Holly, Miriam, Jackie. I don't see any other faces here. But we met at the Yuba swimming pool and did our water aerobics classes 3 days a week. And we had our little spot. We were all together here chit-chatting and talking and making acquaintances and catching up on our news and where we were going for lunch and what time and struggling through our exercises. But Carol was always there. She had a little hard time getting to the pool the last couple of months because she had to walk a long ways to get to the stairs. And we would just hold our breath that she wasn't going to fall. But she made it for several months that way, and she just huddled in our little group, talked to us. A few times, some of us went and met her for lunch the last 3 months she was with us, and she was just a woman of wisdom and kindness and patience. We all would, not all of us, but whoever was there for lunch would, wow, what was going on? Oh dear, I'm having trouble with this issue. I don't know how to handle it. Well, let's talk about it. So we would talk about it. She would give us some insight as to where to go with it, how to handle it, maybe think about it. I'm sure she did that here to everybody. And so on occasion we would close And, or somebody else had another issue and we would go over it. Some were fun, some were like, not domestic, but you know how to handle situations. And she always would tell us, and I always have trouble remembering this part, but she would say, nonetheless. Nonetheless, just finish with nonetheless, and we'll go from there. And I really miss her. I didn't get to see her the last 6 weeks of her life. And I'm sorry I didn't, and I think we are too, but we will miss her when we get in the pool. And when we think of different places, we had lunch and watching him come in. So that's it. Part of it.
Next.
Can I say something very short?
So I met Jerry at water aerobics, and I've only been going for about a year. All these ladies have been going a very long time. And so I only knew her towards the end. And I remember they were going to lunch and I said, can I go? She had stopped coming. And so I said, can I go with you guys? And they were like, yeah. And I felt so honored to be with all these ladies because they're just so amazing. And like the young lady who spoke, she really did. She made me just feel welcomed, you know, and actually all these ladies do. So I feel honored that I got to meet her. And I think that it was good for all of us because it really is a special group. And I feel it's so nice to see all these people and hear these stories about her because she really was just lovely, you know, and she made you feel special, even if you didn't know her well at all. So.
Miriam and I are very recent comers, and we showed up maybe a year or so ago thinking it would be nice to learn a little bit of Hebrew. We didn't realize that we were way out of our heads. It was the little kids, and they were much more advanced. They were preparing for bar mitzvah. But Carol, when she realized this, rescued us from feeling uncomfortable and out of place. She stepped up and said, well, I'll give you a little lesson here. And we sat at a table. She was a teacher on call and made us feel welcome. And we appreciate that about her.
Thank you. Yeah.
Here's one of the bags. I started to save some of the bags for my nieces and nephews because but I pulled out the things that I really wanted that I didn't. Every time we get one, yeah, everybody, I'm seeing a lot of pictures, we have these bags, and we all know, because we're here, who Carol was. And when I first met Carol, she and I started coming to Sisterhood right around the same time. And she would always say, I love you. And she would tell everybody, I love you. And I went, this is real. And then I realized it was real, that what she was is she was so filled with love for everybody, and it was really true. And I always felt like I had a special connection with Carol, and I'm sure that each one of you has felt that because that's who Carol was. When I got the message, I was lucky enough to be with Judy one day. We went and spent an afternoon with her, and it was supposed to be about talking to Judy about sisterhood and what, she's president and what's next. Judy knows everything about that. We spent a lot of time talking about life and love and health, and it was just a gift that we had that time together. When I opened my phone one morning and I saw that Carol had passed, and it just was so heartbreaking. And very, very soon after that, on my phone, while I was still somewhat in shock, there was a poem that showed up on my Facebook page. And it was so fitting that I thought I had to bring it here today to read it to you. So I put it in one of her bags. It's written by Andrea Gibson, and it was written by Andrea to her wife before she passed, and she knew she was passing. So I've taken
the license to take a few things out that were more personal, but when I read this, like, I mean, it just, I went into my bedroom and I just cried when I saw it, heard it. So I just thought I'd share it because I think it speaks to who she is and what she would say to us today. Love, I was so wrong. Dying is the opposite of leaving. When I left my body, I did not go away. That portal of life was not a portal to elsewhere, but a portal to here. I am more here than I ever was. I am more with you than I ever could have imagined. So close, you look past me when wondering where I am. It's okay. I know that to be human is to be farsighted. But feel me now walking the chambers of your heart, pressing my palms to the soft walls of your living. Why did no one tell us that to die is to be reincarnated in those we love while they are still alive? Ask me the altitude of heaven and I will answer, how tall are you? In my back pocket is a love note with every word you wish you had said. At night, I sit ecstatic at the loom, weaving forgiveness into our worldly regrets. Forgive me for not being able to weep with you. One day you will understand. There is nothing I want for now that we are so close. I open the curtain of your eyelids with my smile. Dying is the opposite of leaving. I want to echo it through the corridor of your temples. I am more with you than I was before. I know it's hard to believe, but I promise it's the truth. I promise one day you too can say, I can't believe I ever thought I could lose you.
I'm a fairly recent member of Sisterhood, and Carol was, excuse me for crying, but she was very, one of the first people I met. And we had an instant connection because one of her very good friends, when she was teaching in Salinas, was my daughter-in-law's mother. It's like small world. And so a friend of mine once said that life is like a painting, and when you're done, you put down the brush. Well, I think that Carol's painting showed caring and compassion, kindness, generosity, and a great love for her family and friends. And I think Carol created a masterpiece.
Beautiful.
Well, I'm going to talk about our International Cultural Game that we played once a week. It's called Mahjong. And unless we were contagious, we showed up, okay? And Carol knew how to play, but she wasn't a good player because she was kinder than she was competitive. And if somebody was having a bad day and she could figure out what tile they needed, she'd pass it. And the other thing that Carol did that we know, when it was her turn in her house, we knew we weren't eating for the rest of the week. And we would walk in and we would say, how many people are coming today? And there was never more than 6 of us, but you would think there was at least 20. And that's my cultural share.
I'm Ralph, and after my wife died about a year and a half ago, Carol reached out to me about a year ago, and she would just text and say, "How are you doing? Do you need to talk to anybody? Are you getting along okay?" And I thought, well, that's really sweet. that's really considerate, really kind, really loving. And so I'd say, yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I'm healing slowly, but I'm healing. And then we'd text back and forth several times. And then she'd say, why don't we get together for coffee? And I said, sure. So I never made a date with her. And she kept saying, well, when are we going to do coffee? And I said, well, I better do coffee. Or she's expecting it. So we went to Starbucks and I figured we'd be there maybe 20, 25 minutes. It was about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And we did that several times. And we talked about everything. We talked about our life experiences. We talked about families. We talked about religion, politics, everything. And it was great, just going back and forth, talking with one another. And we stayed in touch via text or when we saw each other and just talked. And so that was really sweet. But one of the things she would do is she'd send me poems, and she started sending me poems right away about a year ago to kind of cheer me up. I'm going to read one here. To the living I am gone, to the sorrowful I will never return. To the angry I was cheated, but to the happy I am at peace. And to the faithful I have never left. I cannot speak, but I can listen. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So as you stand upon a shore gazing at a beautiful sea, as you look upon a flower and admire its simplicity, think of me. Remember me in your heart, your thoughts and your memories of the times we loved, the times we cried, the times we fought, the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never have gone. And that's a poem for her, really, too.
Thank you.
Betty's family, would you like to speak as well? Let's see.
Am I unmuted? You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm Bill. I'm Carol's brother-in-law. I'm married to Carol's sister Betty, who's sitting next to me. And, in recent years, we really had the wonderful privilege of traveling a lot with Carol. And it was wonderful to be able to spend quality time and to have, a really concentrated time together. And, she often would come to visit us when we were in Florida and we would spend time there. We traveled around California with her when we would come out there. And it was just wonderful to have that time with her. She often said that I was her brother, not her brother-in-law, and it got kind of confusing because people didn't understand the relationship between me and Betty. And so we had to clarify that I was a brother-in-law, although I felt like she was my sister and that I was her brother. And she really was a very special, loving, wonderful person. And there is a hole in our hearts that she's no longer with us. And we really appreciate this celebration of life and all the time and energy that was put into it and the words of the people who've spoken. It's a comfort, and we thank you.
I thank everyone who worked so hard to put this together. It's been beautiful, and Carol would love it. Maybe she's sitting right there watching and listening. It meant a lot to me to hear, especially what people said about Carol. She was a fantastic person. She was a great sister. She was there for me in every way possible, all the time. She would show how proud she was of me and how interested she was in everything I did. And we would talk on FaceTime most every night. And sometimes I'd be dialing her and I think, I don't have anything to say particularly. And then we talked for like 4 hours. We talked about everything and anything. And it was was a blessing. It was wonderful. And there was one person, one of the swimmers, who said she felt badly that she didn't get to see Carol in the last 6 weeks of her life. But Carol held all those dear to her. And it didn't matter to her because their specialness in their relationship was there, and you couldn't take that away. And it was interesting when the Sunday school child spoke about how welcomed she felt when she met Carol. It's the same thing my daughter-in-law said about Carol welcoming her into the family. She had just a powerful ability to make people feel really good, but in a legitimate way. You know, it wasn't artificial, it wasn't false. And oh, she could laugh, and we could laugh together. And she and Bill would sing together, and that was so nice. And near the end, he was singing Kumbaya to her. And she was mouthing the words right along with him. And she loved Monopoly. And we had made her, she collected Monopoly sets. And we had made her a Carolopoly, a time when you could buy a kit that would make the Monopoly game. And we made it specific to her. All the street names were authentic street names. And it was fun. We always enjoyed making things for each other and giving to each other. And yes, she was extremely giving. And she could make something out of something so simple, like she took a little rock and she wrote "pocket hug" on it. So I can put it in my pocket and I can carry her hug with me wherever I go. And that's no small thing. There's so much else to say. I don't know what else to say. She went to Sunday school. I should have put that on the timeline. And she was confirmed. And she was confirmed in the same synagogue that my father was, and I was, and she was. That synagogue still exists, and it's into the 7th generation from the inception, when our family came from Bohemia and they formed a synagogue. And in 1893, I'm getting my story mixed up.
No, 1893, the synagogue started as a
They-
burial society, and then they incorporated it in 1893.
And you know how much the dues were? 25 cents a year. So there's a history of synagogues and the importance of being in the synagogue. And we have relatives way back that were rabbis and officers in the synagogue. But that's enough. Maybe Matthew or Adam or Natalie want to say something, or Jacqueline.
Or not.
Did I say Adam?
Or not. Yes, you did.
Good.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Adam or Matt, anybody else online? Wanna?
Our two sons are on. I'm not sure if they're being shy and don't want to speak, and that's okay.
That's fine.
Yes.
That's all right. Anybody else here? Yeah, Iowa.
You know, I'll never forget the day Carol walked in, the very first day she walked into our community, our family. I can see her walking back at the door back there, and she with her 2 grandkids. And she came right up, and we introduced ourselves, and that was the beginning of this amazing relationship with her. I was fortunate too. I think a lot of us, we had also had these individual connections with her that were very kind of quiet, but yet very very meaningful and very profound. And so we did a little bit of singing together. We talked, and I also was unable to see her in the last few weeks of her life, but all the times that I would see her, whether it was Sunday school or just being here, I just remember so many visuals of sitting with her and talking with her, and everybody said so many wonderful things. There's not much more to add other than the amazing woman that she was. But I would like to sing just a quick little song for her. And it's gonna be Amazing Grace. I had a different one, but I thought this one might be the most appropriate. And everybody, please join in. Please join in. We're not gonna get to the esoteric verses. We'll get to the basics. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but never was lost, but twas grace that taught my heart to see, and raised my face. How trusting the grace of you, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, sorrows and shares, I have already become. They grows as grown, we stay thus far, and great will be. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved us so. I'm found. The sea was blind, but now I see. Children, continue to see her. If anybody could come back and have a conversation with her, they would be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One of the earlier speakers from the swimmers group reminded me of the old joke about the 4 women in Miami Beach who are sitting together, and one says, "Oi." The next one says, "Oi." And the next one says, "Oi." And the 4th one says, "I thought we weren't talking about the children today." I am so glad that Carol broke that stereotype and had some wisdom to share, and a nonetheless. So thank you very much for that story. If you're able, please rise. Let's say Mourner's Kaddish in her honor. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlif malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chaye l'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam U'Almei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei D'Kudisha B'rihu. Leila u'leila mikol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom 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 b'mramav. Hu yaseh shalom shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace in the heavens above bring peace to all of us in our loss of Carol, in our mourning. May we be comforted in our grief. May we turn to each other and be the gracious and loving presences that Carol was, and continue her legacy in our community forevermore. Say, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Let's eat. Because that's part of her legacy too. All good wishes to everybody online. And lots of love to everybody here.
Betty and Bill, I wish you
Shana
could,
Tova, everyone.
could eat all the
Tomorrow night,
yummy
7
food that's
o'clock,
here.
and then
Thank you very much, Judy. It was lovely.
And we recorded it. We'll send you the recording and you
Oh,
can,
that's very
Wonderful,
nice. Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you very much.
lots of love.
Shana Tova.
Thank you.
And lots of love back.
Okay. All the best. Bye-bye now.